Have you ever seen a creature that can be revived after being boiled? It was boiled in 151 degrees Celsius water for 30 minutes. After being taken out and added with some water, it started crawling again after 15 minutes. That's not even the most absurd part. In 2007, scientists threw it into space. It was exposed to lethal doses of cosmic radiation. If it were a human, they would have turned to dust. Yet after returning, it was still full of life. What's even more terrifying is, it can survive being frozen at 272 degrees Celsius for 30 years. After thawing, it gave birth to a whole brood of offspring. In 2019, the Israeli lunar lander crashed. Thousands of these creatures carried on board were all scattered across the lunar surface. Scientists say they might still be alive today. This monster is called a tardigrade. It is only 0.5 millimeters long, and you might even have them in your faucet. Yet, it has mastered the ultimate secret code for immortality. What exactly is this secret code? In 2020, the University of Tsukuba in Japan conducted an experiment. They thawed a tardigrade that had been frozen for 32 years. Everyone thought it was definitely game over this time. But 10 minutes later, the creature actually started wriggling. Half an hour later, it began to feed. An hour later, it started mating. The scientists were stunned on the spot. Is this thing truly indestructible? Even more bizarrely, in 2021, researchers at the University of California used a gas gun to launch tardigrades. The speed reached 900 meters per second, faster than a handgun bullet. Logically, they should have been smashed into pulp, but nearly 70 phantarum of them survived. It was as if they had just taken a tumble, dusted themselves off, and continued crawling. So, how did it manage that? The answer lies in an incredible survival tactic. When a tardigrade senses an unfavorable environment, it initiates a procedure within 48 hours. First, it drains all the water from its body. From a chubby little bear, it turns into a shriveled little ball. At this point, if you test it with instruments, its heartbeat is stopped, its breathing is gone, and its metabolism is at zero. By medical definition, it is a dead object. But here is the amazing part. While dehydrating, it frantically secretes something called trehalose. This substance can account for 20 phantaram of its body weight, equivalent to you suddenly carrying 30 pounds of sugar inside you. This sugar is not meant for food, but to act as a time capsule. Trehalose forms a glass-like peptide structure within the cells, sealing off all DNA, proteins, and organs. It's like pressing a pause button on life itself. Time completely loses its effect on it at this moment. You can imagine it. Turning itself into a hard drive. Unplug the power. And the data is preserved permanently. Whenever you want to use it, just plug it back in. And this wait can last for decades, hundreds of years, or even forever. In 2016, the University of Tokyo discovered an even tougher tardigrade. It has a protein in its body called DZUP. This thing specifically hugs the DNA and never lets go. Even when cosmic rays bombard it, they can't tear it apart. Scientists injected this protein into human cells, and the radiation resistance more than doubled. Do you know what this means? In the future, when astronauts go to Mars, they might not need to wear those bulky spacesuits. One shot of tardigrade protein, and they could roam around the surface of Mars. The costs would be cut by more than half. But what keeps scientists up at night is not how long it can live, but a discovery made in 2015. Scientists decoded the tardigrade's genome and found that 16 of its genes were not its own. They were stolen from other organisms, including bacteria, fungi, plants, and even viral genes were present. This process is called horizontal gene transfer. Normally, only bacteria can do this. Higher organisms simply cannot. But the tardigrade somehow managed to do it. It acts like a genetic pirate, plundering superpowers from everyone else. It stole anti-radiation genes from bacteria, allowing it to withstand 5,700 grays of radiation, which is 57 times the lethal dose for humans. It stole an antioxidant system from plants, To prevent its cells from being torn apart by free radicals, it stole a cold resistance mechanism from fungi, which is why it can survive at 270 degrees Celsius. It's like someone playing a game, with a cheat code enabled, maxing out all the skills of every species, and creating an ultimate character. So, is this creature really invincible? Not exactly. In 2020, the University of Copenhagen conducted an experiment and discovered it has a fatal weakness. It is afraid of sudden attacks. If the temperature is raised slowly to 48 degrees Celsius, the tardigrade has time to activate its defense system, and 90 Funtarum can survive. But if the temperature jumps instantly from room temperature to 48 degrees Celsius, they all die within 24 hours. What does this mean? The tardigrade's defense requires preparation time, about 2 days. If the attack comes too fast, it has to bow out. It's like a martial arts master. Give him time. Let him set his stance, and he can take on 10 people. But a sneak attack from behind will still take him down. Yet, even with this weakness, it doesn't stop it from being the strongest creature on Earth. Because for 500 million years, the Earth has experienced 5 mass extinctions. 250 million years ago, 96 Funtarum of marine life died out. 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs were wiped out. But the tardigrade survived every time. It witnessed the birth and extinction of trilobites, watched fish crawl onto land, saw dinosaurs dominate and vanish, and watched humans evolve from apes to what we are today. It just kept crawling quietly. For 500 million years, day after day. Now there are at least 1,300 species of tardigrades worldwide, with numbers likely exceeding hundreds of billions. From Mount Everest to the Mariana Trench, from the Antarctic ice sheet to the Sahara Desert, even in the flower pot on your balcony. As long as there is a hint of moisture, there might be a tardigrade crawling there. This has led many scientists to suspect that the tardigrade might not even be an Earthling, because its abilities are way too extreme. There is no environment on Earth. That requires you to evolve the ability to survive in space. It could have lived comfortably in a puddle. Why evolve these unnecessary skills? Moreover, the tardigrade appeared as a finished product from the start. It has barely evolved in 500 million years. Its body size and structure remain exactly the same. It's as if someone pre-designed it, specifically creating a creature that could survive in any environment. Some scientists have even proposed a wild hypothesis. 4 billion years ago, a meteorite carrying tardigrades might have collided with Earth, sowing the seeds of life here. In other words, all life on Earth, including you and me, might be descendants of the tardigrade. Although this hypothesis is wild, it is not entirely baseless, because tardigrades can indeed hitch rides on meteorites to wander through space, restarting life when they encounter a suitable planet. And those thousands of tardigrades on the moon very likely might still be alive, lying in the lunar dust, waiting for someone to drop a bit of water on them. So what is the practical use of tardigrades for humans? There are huge potential uses. Firstly, in the medical field. In 2024, Harvard Medical School has already started clinical trials to turn the tardigrade's D subprotein into an mRNA vaccine, given to cancer patients. The result was a 70 Funtarum reduction in radiotherapy side effects, because this protein can protect normal cells, letting radiation only kill cancer cells. If this technology matures, cancer treatment might just involve one shot before radiotherapy. It would automatically become ineffective after a few days, would not cause permanent changes, and would avoid those terrifying side effects. Secondly, space exploration. NASA is currently frantically researching the tardigrade's hibernation mechanism. If humans could also enter this state, we could just sleep through the journey to Mars and wake up automatically upon arrival. There would be no need to carry months of food and water. Spaceships could be made smaller and faster, cutting costs by 70 Funtarum. The wildest part is anti-aging research. In 2024, Stanford University discovered that when a tardigrade hibernates, its cellular telomeres do not shorten. Telomeres are the countdown clock for cell life. Every time they divide, they get a bit shorter. Once they run out, the cell dies. And humans age, but when a tardigrade hibernates, it can pause this countdown. If humans master this technology, we could theoretically significantly extend our lifespan. You could hibernate for as long as you want to live. But this also brings up a philosophical question. If you could pause your life at any time like a tardigrade, crossing through time, would you still be you? Tardigrades can hibernate for hundreds of years. But during that time, it has no consciousness, no feelings, no memories. It knows nothing. Can it be considered alive? If humans were to hibernate like this in space for centuries, when you wake up, all your friends and family would be dead. Your era would already be history. Would you still be the same person? What is the difference between this kind of immortality and death? Perhaps the tardigrade has already used 500 million years to give us the answer. True strength is not living the longest, not running the fastest, not fighting the hardest. But no matter how the environment changes, being able to adapt and being able to survive. Humans have built cities, civilization, and technology, thinking we have conquered the Earth. But in the face of a tardigrade, we might not even last one round. Because on the day the Earth truly is destroyed, when a meteorite crashes down, when a nuclear bomb explodes, or when the sun expands, humans might be wiped out in an instant. But the tardigrade, it might be hiding in some deep-sea volcanic vent, or buried in rock layers kilometers underground, waiting in a state of hibernation, waiting for millions of years, waiting for the Earth's environment to recover, then waking up, continuing to crawl, continuing to live, continuing to witness the birth of the next civilization. This 0.5 millimeter little thing tells us with its existence that in the face of the universe, size is never important. What's important is whether you can survive. Dinosaurs were so huge, yet they still went extinct. Tardigrades are so small, yet they have lived for 500 million years. Being small does not mean being weak, and being huge does not mean being strong. Perhaps when human civilization finally reaches its end, when the last human closes their eyes, there will still be a tardigrade slowly crawling in the ruins, witnessing the final moments of this planet, and at that time, it will be just like 500 million years ago, silently living, waiting for the next era, waiting for the next intelligent life to appear, and then continuing to witness, continuing to live. This is the real you. Not staying young forever, not staying strong forever, but always having the ability to start over. The tardigrade has used 500 million years to show us what life's resilience is, what true strength is. When you think life is difficult, when you think you can't go on, think about this 0.5 millimeter little thing. It has survived 5 mass extinctions, been boiled, been frozen, been irradiated, been thrown into space, been shot like a cannonball, but it never gave up on living. Perhaps this is the most important lesson it has taught us. It is not about how to conquer the world, but about how, in the event of an apocalypse, one can still manage to survive. It is not about how to defeat time, but about how to make time irrelevant to you. It is not about how to become stronger, but about how to become more resilient. Because in this universe, those who survive until the end are never the strongest ones, but the ones most capable of adapting. The tardigrade is the ultimate proof of this.